Okay, so I lied. I said in the previous episode that this episode was going to be the episode that we killed the Exo Mechs, and the next episode would be the the finale of everything. Well, look, that didn't happen, and that's because I'm calling on your help. I'm having such an issue with the final phase of this boss, and I'm going to kind of quickly explain what I'm using and how I'm doing it, and then what I need is feedback on the final phase, which you guys are awesome at helping with. So, you know, just getting a little bit of feedback on how that works is what we're here for today. No bosses will die today because I just spent 2 hours on this boss, and I feel stumped, right? It's rare that I feel stumped, but I'm feeling pretty stumped on the Exo Mechs with the summoner. So, first off, I'm using the giant worm summon, which spawns the hearts. It actually does quite a lot of DPS, I've noticed, especially with the movement that I'm using, so we're sticking with that. I'm using the summon from Supreme Calamitous. That seems to be working great. And then, instead of whipping everything all the time, I'm actually using the one that summons Catastrophe and what's-his-butt from Supreme Calamitous, and that also seems to do a stupid amount of damage. And the best part is, when it hits me, it only does like 1 damage, so it doesn't really actually matter if it hits me or not, technically. I mean, when it hits me, it does get rid of my adrenaline, which is not ideal, but man, it does so much damage, and it's like making up for the fact that I'm not getting adrenaline. It's like really, really good. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm going with so far. I'm still using the Shattered Community. It's giving me a bunch of rage. I like it. We're having a bunch of fun with our setup. It's not our setup that I think is the problem. It's how I'm doing the final phase. So first off, I will start the fight, and then I'll start with the eyes, and then once the big, you know, multi-hand guy comes out, Ares, I attack him, and I basically just focus him down from the second phase onwards. So when he comes out, it's full focus on him, and then he dies. That's it. Like, he's super easy to kill. And then what comes out is the worm, and I do a little bit of damage to him. The eyeballs come out, and I try to focus them as much as possible. I try to do as much damage to them as possible. It's hard because the worm's constantly taking damage, and that's just, you know, I'm trying to do damage to the eyes, but eventually one of them will push into the next phase, and then I have to kill the worm. That's the next one that goes solo no matter what I do. The worm goes solo, so then I focus on him. I've tried focusing on the worm to get the eyes to go solo for the next one, but it just doesn't work. It just always brings out the worm, so then I end up killing the worm, and then I'm stuck with the 2 eyes. Apollo or Ares and Artemis, I think is what it was. No, Apollo and Artemis, there we go. Gotta go with my Greek gods, I gotta figure this out. So I'm sitting there fighting, and the thing that is killing me is twofold. Number one, the movement in the final phase. These guys just move so fast. Their projectiles are just so fast. It's really hard for me to dodge, especially because I can't seem to get rid of the floating balls in the background. Even though in the previous episode, we figured out that about 5 p.m. in the game was like the perfect spot time-wise. I tried to go back to that, and it's just still spawning these orbs in the background, and it's making it impossible to see. So that might be a change that came into Calamity within the last handful of days, unfortunately. Maybe not, though. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. Then they're dashing around, they're doing their stuff. The thing that always gets me, I can dodge it once, but I can't seem to dodge it a second time or even a third time. Sometimes I get lucky and it doesn't do it a second and a third time in a row, and I'm able to use my dodge again. But even then, it's just a constant movement in the final phase from these 2 eyeball dudes. It's just doing so much damage. So what happens is the orange one goes, I think it's Artemis, maybe. Goes and does this giant laser beam. So it dashes, it charges up a laser, an orange laser, and then it does like a swish attack with it. So no matter where you're at on the screen, you're gonna get hit unless you manage to follow the beam, which is really hard to do, or you just use your normality relocator, which is what I'm trying to do. But the boss moves so freaking fast in that final phase because they are the final ones alive. They're getting a bonus to their movement speed and attack speed and everything. It really sucks. So what I need assistance with, so this is guided assistance. I either need assistance with how the heck do I dodge this stupid laser beam, It's so annoying. You guys have no idea. I've read up that I need to, on the wiki it says that if you stand to the top right of the boss right before it does the beam, then it's really easy. But I'll tell you what, in that final phase, he moves so fast, it's impossible. I've tried it, it's impossible. So I either need a better way of dodging that thing, right? Or I need to figure out how the hell I'm going to get these stupid eyeballs dead before the final phase, because that would solve that issue. They would be moving slower, it'd be easier to dodge, right? Because the further you get into the fight, the one left alive the longest is going to be the most annoying at the end. Ideally, the one I want alive at the end is the worm, right? So I need to swap it. I need the worm to die last and the eyeballs to die right before the worm. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to figure that out. And I've been experimenting with killing like Ares first, or sorry, spawning the worm first, then killing Ares, then trying to do the same thing. And I don't know if it's working. It seems like keep getting into the last phase and just having issues. So yeah, let me know in the comments what the heck I should be doing for this. I feel like I'm stumped. I've been doing this for 2 hours. I feel like I'm kind of crushing other parts of the fight, doing a bunch of damage, and I'm having a lot of fun. And then I get to that last phase, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do here. Like freaking Ares and Artemis and Apollo are just doing so much. They have so much on screen. It's impossible to see with the orbs in the background. The suggestion that I had gotten from you guys before was to make an underground arena, but I'm using so much of my world that I'm not actually going to do that. Or put background walls down. Like, I'm not going to do that either. I just need to somehow get rid of this. Maybe I could just turn the background off. That might actually be helpful, which is something I can do. I don't know. I think the thing that's killing me, like that's fine and dandy, but the thing that's killing me is that laser beam, and I need to figure out how to dodge it. I'm just having the hardest time to do that. So either I need to figure out how to get the eyeballs to die sooner, which is tough as a summoner, right? Even with whipping the ones, which is really hard to whip because they stay right out of your range of your whip. So you have to wait for the orange one, which I believe is Artemis, to dash you. And then, even if you hit it, sometimes your dudes like to focus on other things. So it's difficult. Let me know in the comments what you think I should be doing to try to get this dead. And then in the next episode, this boss should finally be dead.